Women don't respect you. One thing that I see with clients all the time from 30 plus countries over the last 4 years now is that women really usually feel comfortable around you because you're a nice and respectful man, but they don't perceive you as particularly masculine. They feel like they can walk all over you, challenge you. You feel like you're walking on eggshells around them. Maybe you're confident in general, in your career, in your business, in your sports. But when you have a beautiful woman standing in front of you, inside and out, it's a little bit different. And look, I have a client, he's in his 30s, business consultant from Germany, and he recently got into a relationship with a lady. She's 32 years of age, amazing woman. And yeah, we're currently talking about maybe we'll film a client testimonial together. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. Maybe you'll get to see it. Would be nice. Obviously, privacy is something that we respect, and some people are very happy to talk about it. Some people not so much. But when he came to me, he had exactly that type of issue as well. It was a very, very similar situation where he was amazing guy, super kind, super smart, super hardworking. Just women didn't necessarily perceive him as that masculine type of guy who is able to disagree, who is able to set boundaries, who's able to communicate his needs on eye level. And remember, I'm not talking about having to be this alpha male, uber tough guy. That's not what we're talking about here. Look, this is not about you going from slave and then all of a sudden becoming a tyrant in the relationship. Now, most men are slaves in the relationship because they're putting women on a pedestal. They're looking up to them. And I do believe that you can place women on a pedestal at some point. And I placed Fernanda very consciously on a pedestal. Very consciously so. Not so that I put myself underneath her, because I really treat her like a queen, or at least I do my best to do so. I really try to cherish her. But that's almost the third level of evolution. In the beginning, you just have to take her down from that pedestal and have that relationship on eye level. Now, some people then overcompensate, as you're probably aware in this internet space, and they become the tyrant. They're very over-aggressive and over-dominant and all of that. And that's fine temporarily, I guess. It's probably not really fine because you don't ever want to be the tyrant. But it's okay to overcorrect a little bit. I think that's normal temporarily, but you have to catch yourself instantaneously and realize that you do want to have a relationship on eye level. But to get there, you first have to become that masculine type of guy who can actually say no. No, don't do that, please. For example, you're sitting in a burrito place and she takes a little bit of food out of it and then she throws it back in there, playfully, right? And not even with a weird intent. It's just, you might say, what one on earth would do that? It's just a silly little example. And you can just say, no, don't do that, please. You've never in your life probably said, don't do that. Never in your life have you probably had a woman do something that you don't like and say, don't do that. Correct me if I'm wrong. And if you can't even do that, it means you lack the confidence to communicate your personality authentically and effectively, and women will never respect you. You have to understand, women are a little bit like children, and I say that in the most respectful way. Children test boundaries. The worst thing you can do for a child is to not give them any boundaries, not give them any rules. Now, children may complain about the boundaries or the rules, not rules in terms of what she can do as a person, but in terms of her interactions with you. There may be a little bit of tension in the moment, which you're currently not even able to comfortably tolerate. But the worst thing you can do for a child is to not set any. Because then there's no certainty, there's no structure, there's zero respect. You've seen children who don't respect their parents. Because it's not just a man-to-woman it's not just a man-to-woman dynamic. And there are certain men-to-women dynamics that are just specific for that. But that's a universal social dynamic. You only respect the type of people, or the types of people who set boundaries with you. There are people in your life right now who you respect more because you know, I better be on time when I meet with them. I better conduct myself in a respectful manner. I better not do certain things. And with other people, unconsciously, not even consciously, you're just like, yeah, it'll be fine. It'll be okay. Why is that? Well, because these other people have set boundaries with you in the past. There's many more ways to let that healthy degree of masculinity manifests itself in your interactions with women, which is something that we teach in detail in the coaching program. So apply for a free initial consultation call right now so we can help you with that personally. But one very fundamental step is to set boundaries. One is to disagree. One is to just use your face in a slightly disapproving manner. Not playing toxic, manipulative, narcissistic, BPD types of games. That's not what this is about. It's never about you manipulating her. But if she says something you disagree with, don't just go, look, what I see with clients all the time is that they have these baby tiger vibes. They're like, oh yeah, great, they agree. They can't even disagree. If she talks about something that you don't like, feminism perhaps, and then you say, oh yeah, actually, yeah, makes a lot of sense. No, nonsense. I disagree with that wholeheartedly. Do I believe in the rights for women, equal rights, that women should do whatever the hell they want? 100%. But the ideology that's associated with that is quite a problematic one, I would say. And you can't even say that because you're so afraid of losing her. But it's really a habit to step into constructive tension with the people around you. Because you're not doing them any favors by not being honest. You're not doing them any favors because they won't even get to know the real you. Or in other words, they'll get to know the real you 4 to 6 to 12 months into the relationship when you feel like you got her. Then your real self comes out because you feel, I have her now. Now I can start sharing my real opinions. And she's like, oh, that's not what I signed up for. If you want to increase the probability that you have a high degree of relationship success, then communicate as much about yourself and your values up front as soon as possible. If you just want to have intimacy, short-term intimacy, well, you don't need to do that. But that's not what you're here for, right? Obviously you want experience, obviously you want intimacy, that's fine, obviously. It's a lot of fun. But what you're really here for is a meaningful, fulfilling, long-term relationship. And to screen for compatibility, you have to be radically honest, and you cannot ever be afraid of losing that particular individual that's situated in front of you on a date or during the initial approach. So it's really important that you make the decision to not be a baby tiger anymore, but to be a lion instead, and to let her feel that you have balls. Does she know there is a man in front of her? She doesn't want a child. By the way, I see a lot of good-looking, handsome, tall guys who are being pussy-whipped in relationships, left, right, and center. Verbal abuse, manipulated. It's happening quite frequently. Women have their own degree of suffering, 100%, for sure. We all do. But a lot of these tall, good-looking men who can get dates easily, they struggle just as much, moving things forward, having just a really warm and kind, yet firm level of communication around their needs. Because a lot of us either don't communicate our needs, and then we communicate them in a way where we just explode. And it just so much built up resentment because we didn't communicate them that it just comes out at some point. And the men who never communicate them, well, let me tell you what I've seen with, let's say, I don't want to say exactly who it is, but somebody who I know who is a husband and a father of a couple of people. Really loving man, really good person, by the way. The most pussy-whipped man I've ever seen walking on the face of the planet. And by the way, I was like the biggest cuck in the relationship with my ex-wife you could have ever seen as well, right? Not literally, okay? Not in the literal meaning of me sitting on the bench right here, her being on the bed over there with some other man. No, not in that sense. But in a way that I didn't communicate my needs and I didn't feel free to express myself, more so, in the metaphorical sense. And same with that guy. But he never communicates his needs. He seems quite beaten down. So whenever the whole family's in the car, the road rage comes out. He gets really angry and starts shouting at drivers. If people get overly aggressive or overly angry at seemingly benign situations, it means there are needs within them that aren't being met. So for him, being able to drive around while the family's in the car and unleash this anger, that's the only way where he can, and other drivers, that's the only way in which he feels it's somewhat safe to show those emotions, because he's too afraid to communicate his needs in the relationship because he's afraid he's going to lose everybody. It's a very difficult dynamic, but in essence he's afraid to lose that person, his wife, who doesn't really respect him, and therefore he's not communicating his needs. So anger, which is a very useful signal, it's a competence that shows you that you're not communicating your needs, in other words, that there are unmet needs, that anger just builds up and then it just, boom, it just explodes outwards. So it's very important that you learn to communicate these things early on. And a lot of my clients, they go through this transformation where they're still super kind, super nice people by the end of it when they're in a relationship, but they're a real man. And what does it mean to be a real man? You can communicate your needs. You can say, hey, I like this, I don't like that. It can be super calm. It could be super fun and loving. Look, you know, a lot of my videos, I'm super high energy. And that's awesome. I'm really high energy when things are good. But when I'm actually having to have difficult conversations, I calm down a lot. Because you can't have difficult conversations like that. You can't set boundaries in an aggressive manner like that. So you can be super passionate and loving and fun. But when you have to communicate these when you have to navigate these difficult situations, they're not even that difficult. If you just got to set boundaries, communicate your needs, then you got to do so in a very, very calm and kind manner. So I would like to encourage you to speak what's on your mind, to stop filtering yourself so much. She'll never respect you if you filter yourself. She will never respect you if you let her get away with disrespectful behavior. And women don't do that consciously, but she'll unconsciously do it. Remember, she will always map your current behavior towards future behavior. She'll ask herself, if he's tolerating this type of behavior from me right now, he's actually quite likely to tolerate an external threat towards me and him and the family that we might have at some point in the future, if he can't even stand up for himself. So that doesn't island, but you say, no, that's fine. And you just remove yourself from the situation. If you see that she doesn't respect your time, your efforts, your emotions, or just who you are, there's just a general lack of interest and appreciation, you say, hey, cool, no problem at all, wish you all the best, take care, have a good day. And you walk away, being grounded in the abundance of this beautiful world, knowing that there's so many women who'd be happy to take her place. So really understand that you currently are a baby tiger. You really are in your interactions with women. And if you want to be the metaphorical lion, a real man that women respect, then you have to dedicate yourself to that process. It doesn't take years, but it doesn't happen from today to tomorrow. Because you have 28, 40, 50, 65 years of life experience, of conditioning patterns of thinking, feeling, and acting in a certain manner. So that needs to be changed. You have things in your communication with women right now that you're not even aware of, blind spots. You can only have the result that you want, an amazing relationship, or you have blind spots. If you don't have that relationship, it means you must have blind spots. I'd be honored to help you with that. It's my real passion. This coaching program is going to be one of the most life-changing things you'll ever experience. I promise you that. So what I would encourage you to do is go to the website, check out the client testimonials, send me a DM, and apply for a free call, and myself or my team, we're going to get in touch. Wish you all the best. Take care.